For this is Kwesi Can Come Talks again. Yeah, church will be BR, baby. I'll show you free BR. So today we decided to bring a very short live. I know it's a holiday for most people in America and Ghana too, and in Africa at large. Sunday, African Union Day. So happy African Union Day. So today we like to talk about something very brief. Perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. Yesterday, myself and then Mr. Ibamando and then we talked about perspective, which is the very first book that was written by Mr. Kwabena Bendako. And then we spoke about, I think, chapter 1. And chapter 1 also happens to be perspective. And it actually got me thinking, Mr. Bentroy, because what it does is that it shapes your mind as an African. It shapes your mind as a Ghanaian, especially a Ghanaian youth. And even the older generation or the older ones, it also has a section for you, because the book cuts across all age band or, age groups. Perspective is everything. By the way, if you are joining us live, welcome to our live. Your child baby BR here, free BR. My name is Kwesi Can Come, and you are welcome to Kwesi Can Come Talks. So the reason why I'm saying that perspective is everything is because we are say unim dia offer bibi hono and a tre a kwaya sad nefa. It can be marriage, it can be education, it can be entrepreneurship, it can be business, it can be so many things. But your perspective about it determines everything. So in actual fact, perspective is more or less your viewpoint about a particular subject or a particular topic or about a particular entity that you would be talking about. Send your own bibifa and no perspective no. And pempi yeah bibifa na sen yen Ghana for yentiase and as I say mafa bibi no. It is usually from what we've known for so many years. And it makes it hard for us to change that perspective. It makes it hard for us to change that opinion. Let's take, for example, Uku School. The general perspective, if you take 10 Ghanaians, maybe 9 out of them, the general perspective about education is that Uku School we are Ubenya degree. After degree, no, Ubenya ejuma, it can be a white collar job. Obetina Asim, Ubenya a salary. You beat your car, you do all those things, you buy a house, you build a house, you buy a car, you marry, you give birth, and then that's it. You go on retirement, and then you resort to your pension pay or your retirement benefits. What if that thing is not true? What if we can actually look at this from a different angle or a different perspective? But how do we do that? We can only do that if we have certain knowledge. It will take knowledge for you to break that old perspective about education, that get degrees, get more degrees, get your masters, get your PhD, even when it is not directly having influence or even translating into your salary, because that is the perspective we have. Masters. So, what throw CV, what throw employment letters, so still, okay, what if you decided to look at it from a different standpoint? Say, Jumana Mepedia, do I need to necessarily go to school and accumulate all these degrees in order for me to get a job? Or I can look at it from a different standpoint and say, okay, instead of medical school be brain, no me degree in kwa, okay, na fi mesua ejuma foforo. And I say my pension and ejuma bia eden, esua. Because at the end of the day, you want financial freedom, you want money. You want some sort of income. You want some sort of stability. And the other in a medical school, no, me who say school now, my home for so be a certificate as I'm making. And then I want to go to school again and get another certificate or another master's or maybe a PhD when I know I don't really need it. It's not a job requirement. So Another perspective is about job. Is it job that will make us financially free? No, because we can lose the job at any time. Your children cannot inherit your job. Oma, so uni wa ejuma oye say about ejuma say a private job ejuma no. Oma intimi inherit it. Enye japade. The same thing or certificate, you can get all the certificates in the world, but your children cannot inherit it. They need to also get their own. But then, if you're able to establish your own company, if you are no more, your children can inherit it. So that is another perspective. But for us to embrace that perspective, I know it is very hard for us to let go things that we've held on to for so many years. But you will see different results. Because if you constantly do what you know over time, you will get the same results. But if you try something new, you will get a different results. So, NOB can Isaac Frempong. Salute you. I'll say, most times they believe that when they have higher certification, they can get better jobs and earn good income. It's true. That has always been the perspective. Until you teacher crana or person top up. No, I had a master's. But then at the end of the day, you still complain that you are broke. But that same salary that you are taking, Obi, crowd they want to school, so but they are doing a side job, maybe or year full, maybe or side businesses. You two take the same salary, but then that person is living very good. In a perspective. Let's come to maybe, for example, marriage. Especially young ones now, in Ghana, the average wedding probably is costing over 200,000 because even decor and all those things that you do, it's very expensive. And mind you, if you have the wedding to do and you have the money and you can do it. Oh, see, kind of boost now, so yeah. But if you're a young guy that is upcoming and then you have not even found your feet, it is very important to pay attention to certain decisions that you make. Okay, well, maybe 300,000 Ghana cedis, 500,000 Ghana cedis. You don't have the money. You borrow to do just 1 day event that will even last for a few hours. At the end of the day, you are starting the marriage on a wrong note. Have a once in a while worry. Now because you have loans to pay. You thought the wedding people will come and then pay a lot of money, but it didn't happen that way. Why don't you have a different perspective that a wedding is just between the two families, and then nobody is going to arrest you if you decide to do something small between the two families? It all boils down to understanding between the two parties, especially Bemani or Bano. If you have the money and you want to do it big, like I said, you can do it big. Not saying how business be out here and how projects be out here, do it. But unisika to say be a me, and also uni be about, and you have other goals that you want to achieve. For example, that big money, say 200,000, you can do something with 50,000 if the two of you really understand each other. And then the rest of the money, just buy a land. In 2-3 years, the price of the land will appreciate. And then you can start setting projects on it. You can start setting business. And trust me, in 10 years, business ni ebejina. If you are being consistent and truthful, and that dream big wedding that you two had wanted to do, you can do it. There is no set time in life for a wedding. Or there's no set time in life for a big birthday party. Richard Niyamakwe, look at what he did. He celebrated his 40th birthday very big. But trust me, 20 years ago, if he had that money and he had celebrated a big birthday, in Kaundu Bibi Aweduno. So perspective is everything. At the end of the day, if it is a birthday or a wedding, it's a celebration, it's a day event. The aftermath of the day, and on a real issue, So you don't want to blow cash in those situations if you don't have it. The key word here is that if you don't have it, have a different perspective. A different perspective will let you know that life goes beyond degrees. Life goes beyond certificates. And maybe KNUST near College of Science, Bachelor of Science, Chemistry. chemistry no kwani you could read and share anything outside chemistry. So you will complete school and your knowledge about life is skewed because all you went there to do is to study chemistry. People don't even want to take up extracurricular activities. Obua onko seminar bia, obua onko program bia or campus. Those extracurricular activities builds a network. Because at the end of the day, all of us who complete school, no, we are talking about thousands of people. Now, if the government is supposed to employ these people, the government will never be able to do that because vacancies in the government sector, public sector, or civil sector are small. So it's not gonna happen. It's never going to happen. NOB Cabo, you know, say traditional wedding is the best. That is, it's not even traditional wedding per se. That is the actual marriage in our jurisdiction as Africans or Ghanaians. Okay, if you say in a Nunya Warrior Kasa. In an time, that is what they were doing. It was just the introduction of, you know, Western religion that came to the scene. And sometimes you want to acknowledge the fact that you go to a church or you belong to a particular religion. So you want to do maybe a wedding. And you can do a budget, a well-planned and budgeted wedding. You don't have to blow cash. You don't have to blow cash. Back to what I was talking about, government in the employing crowdfunding. It's not going to happen. Because the few vacancies that is there, no, we are going to give it to party supporters or maybe, you know, party affiliates or foot soldiers. And when you've been there now, and that is why you need to get a different perspective. So you could be in school studying engineering, social science, political science, you know, rural urban development planning, all those courses, they are nice, but they are only nice when you are in the school. There is no guarantee that you are going to complete school and get a job from the program that you read in the university, except a few ones be a professional courses like medicine, pharmacy, any all those things. But no cranny be we are mutinefi. Be brain we are mutinefi. There was a pharmacy graduating class. We I think 2022. Musika I said the mom and my. And you know, I think I will be trained says can be bad. No, you can start something. People will be like, I don't have the capital. It's about time that we saw we gave like a different perspective when it comes to starting a business and then a capital. That is my next point. When we talk about capital, our general perspective about capital is about money. Oh, me person me starting business into me yeska. On starting business that oh here 100,000 to start a business. Untimi manage 10,000 crowd. Untimi running business 10,000. I'll pay 100,000. You blow the cash because your knowledge and your perspective about money is very skewed. And so therefore, if we give you 100,000 right now, you blow it. You blow it. Frimpong says that he completed Medilab Science in 2020. He is still at home waiting for posting. So if he doesn't have a different perspective about life, that his life is tied towards his degree, no train posting 5 years down the line and posting. School now we are being Juma. No one is kind. It's not true. They are not facts. They are just assumptions. So capital again. Back to the point that I was talking about. Capital, no. Who say is and only a perspective. But if you get different sort of knowledge around, say capital there are several categories of capital. We have the number one, which is money. Financial capital, money. But there are other sources of or forms of capital. Your human capital, your credibility or your honesty. So your credibility and your honesty can also be your capital. So for example, you want to go into the sale of used clothes or second-hand clothes. Unisikano. But uni madam phobia ana uni mobi or ton tade or kantamanto ana edunkejetia PZ. Uni pane kasana so kano cross ebi akwaku Kwame Charlie. Obetimi ama me tade be 3B na me fan start me ton wi a me do sika be den ebe bro na mate me mfa so. You do it for the first time. No edi no kre wo ton wi no di akọ. What on fast or no next time obema 10, next time obema 20. Sa musnafi when ya o capital from fason kitchen so. Then you'll be able to also get into the business and start your own. If you go to a Doom PZ, boys no more mobile phone or no. Be braina no mu didi nkrofo achi. But omo no credit internet is almost any omo store or omo ton phones no. Nobody gave them a capital. There are a lot of people who started a business from zero. Zero thinking. You start with nothing, but you have something, and that something that you have is your credibility. And idea back why you to know. You must be brainy. I know, say it's not easy out there. Yes, it's not easy out there. Even people who are outside the country, it's still not easy. I, for one, I had to do over 15 to 20 to about 20 interviews before I had my first job. But I realized that the job will not give me the financial freedom that I am looking for. I have to go an extra mile. I have to do something extra so that I'll get that financial freedom that I'm looking for. You can start with nothing. Penukredi o obi ma sika 200 cedis kwano. 2 years ni untimi nchianeka. Unso a unkashe. And you think next time the person will even recommend you or give you money. No, because you are not truthful. You are not credible. You don't have honesty. So honesty is one sort of capital. Number two, your network. Number three, we have network capital. Your network capital. So your friends, your circle. Omo ye nama ye koye be. So na for 4 phone. Na sasma to critical unisika. Ana here urgent money. No afa phone. That's all now for phone. Be no bit me amount 1,000 Ghana cedis, $1,000 or maybe 1,000 euros or pounds. Then you need to start questioning yourself. Say, hey, what kind of network do I have? Because your network is your net worth, and it's one type of capital that everybody needs. So, for example, let's use this analogy. Me nipa bebre ni me. For example, if I go to Boeing, or if I go to the Enfa Kantanka crying example, Mako Kantanka auto shop, no Mako no ma catch and say, Papa me pacho me pe Kantanka on 94 na meba bitua in the next 2 or 3 months. They will not give it to me because they don't know me. They don't know the persons, the people that I know, or they don't even know people who know me. And you farmer me why? Because they don't know my credibility. They don't know who the kind of person that I am. They don't know. But in this same situation, okay, let's say Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, and I say Papa or say Kwame Despite takes his phone and make a phone call to Kantanka Automobile that, hey, Kankam is my boy. He is coming to your auto shop in the next 2 to 3 hours. Give him 1 on 94. I'll bring the money in the next 2 to 3 months. They will give it to me. They will give it to me because my network, which consists of either Mr. Ibrahim Mahama or Dr. Kwame Despite, no. And I'm a because they know their credibility, they know the kind of people they are. Until it's just a phone call away. And I'm a pen. It's the same thing for most businesses too. They will tell you, oh, Charlie, this lady is my small girl. Shenomame, like you see, mano, I'll take care of it. If you don't have some of these people in your circle or your network, then you are treading on a very deadly path. Because even though at the end of the day you are on your own, but nipa nebo nipa. So let's be very conscious about the kind of friends that we make. Don't let your perspective about friendship be the fact that we will meet and then we will chill, we will enjoy. Club, perspective. But there is a different perspective about friendship which will make you very intentional in the sense that, oh, fine and for they are people of substance, they are people of virtue, they are people of, omokasa edimu into betime duanim amwakwa koyi bibi. And that part is very important. The last thing that I'll talk about, perspective, especially young ones, lifestyle. Young ones, so what we want to do is that we want to show off. Sometimes you don't even know the source of somebody's what? Wealth. Obuha ni ma ni papa ene airbuano. Obuha ni me come no credit. I live with my parents. I can live by myself. I live with my parents. I have not seen the big essence of living like by myself, even though I can do it. I'm very family oriented. I know definitely I'll move out. So what I say. But prior to that, whatever thing that I have to learn from them, whatever thing that I have to do, I don't have to take it lightly. Lifestyle inflation. Obu I will see so onye juma. It can be a 2,000, 5,000. Or a single bedroom or non quantity on worry. Or the trust in a juma. And that is all you've been doing for so many years. Nothing has happened. You are okay. You're too by bare 5% now. Then or this person wants to move out and rent a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom house, even when they live alone, because they want their privacy. It's good. At some point, that thing will come because, yeah, they want to be a big boy. They want to be a big girl. Yeah, they want to, now they don't want the ceiling fan anymore. They want an AC. And then their utility bills will go up. Delayed gratification is one of the perspectives that we need to embrace instead of always looking as if say a lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is one viewpoint or perspective. The direct opposite of it would be delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. You're a young guy. Now you maybe iPhone 11 or iPhone 12. You are not under any pressure to go get iPhone 16. Says canon, umia ni na di bika ho a, obetimi ato asase. O de oni hwe yakra ato asase to in the next 2 to 3 years, it will appreciate. Make sure you get the documentation. Put the money in a business. Yes, you will fail big. You will learn from it. We need to have that conscience and we need to embrace different knowledge to the extent that Ubedu baby no, your amount 1 million Ghana cedis, $1 million, and you will know what to do with the money. A lot of people will ask you, what should I do with this amount of money? It's because your viewpoint about money is that you don't have another perspective about it. Says can obey me their share business beam. So so when yes can the business na era no they are kotoka. And now the car becomes a liability because now, for example, you're a teacher. Maybe you will be out to be to for trust in alcohol. Car no car parkis you. And the car has become a liability. If you don't have that car, nobody is going to laugh at you. Nobody is going to ridicule you. And in fact, if they are doing it, it's their own cup of tea. Into why I said Toyota Corolla na hobeso anawato. And pre on search engine na mekwa Mercedes Benz C300 when you know you are going to take a loan for it. Why? Because you want people to know that you have arrived. No. Forget about the people. Forget about the perspective about people do not really matter. Or the way people think about you do not really matter. So if I'm driving in a Honda Civic, if I'm driving in a Toyota Corolla, and now buy it. So what a single room and the Honda better for 5 years. Now now to me this kind of share the full from one that's the do it. Don't listen to what others are saying, because these same people, when they go to their homes and they are crying, they are soaking their pillows with tears. You are not there to know. We love to compare ourselves to people in material things. Materialism is not the definition of wealth. And no see one perspective I say here. Our perspective about wealth has always been say, oh, our cars or fee be a dime be. No. Materialism is just riches. True wealth is very silent. Into me one see some company na my employee nipa 50 unim. But because we say me tian say I me share e bi atade we na me dressing punta no because I go ni no hwe. So but if you are my company I'm only nipa 50 my employer, you may never know. Wealth is just the riches is just one aspect of wealth, right? But those who are wealthy, they control the rich. The rich cannot control the wealthy. Sanity. So we should look beyond the cars, the phone, the flashy things, the wig, the Louis Vuitton bags, and all those kind of things. We should look beyond it. That is not the definition of wealth. Real definition of wealth is when you have wealth accumulation plan and then you are building assets or you are investing into assets that will always generate money for you even when you are on your sick bed. So the soccer player is rich, but the team owner is wealthy because he pays the soccer player. Perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. Oh, you're a young guy. Oh, how a relationship, girl, how pressure. Say, Charlie, young rented down or East Legon, young rented down a Trasaco, young yisi, Zanzibar. When you know, say, oh no, a Juma Bakopena, you a dear, who knew who capre. The fact that you are going to Zanzibar and all those places is your perspective about what people think. Say people will know that, yeah, Charlie, you to you day, you get money, you to you then your baby, like you they go vacation then things. You dey bab. But behind closed doors, no more than him saying then true. So even in a relationship, we need to have a different perspective. Have somebody who is very understanding. And you be no better one say, but near you two should have that understanding. A time will come that the Zanzibar that you want to go, no, you will go. Meeting me, I made despite my example. Young papa, despite be meeting so I'm sorry. Now, when Dr. Sekwame despite started selling cassette, CDs, and all those things, no, I'm sure he had money. Onye sikana nanka or shasi de to and then cyber truck away, and I saw shasi to cars. Or shasi to crying ebi or shasi no the yen akesisema. He wouldn't have been able to get money to expand the business. So now, you know, riches and the wealthy, because he had a wealth accumulation plan. Now he realized that a time is coming that the cassette will be no more. So now let me consider pushing the money into starting a media group. No, starting Peace FM. I think the first tree radio station in the nation's capital, Accra. Kakran. Shall see a man for because your radio Ghana money now home in a camera phone kwande na bekachi. But only he had a different perspective. And then Peace FM is the most is the most popular tree radio station in Ghana. Kakran or diverted through kakra no akọ real estate kakra. But o shall see no ton cassette no this can real estate man ko bepim. Because maybe at that time you do enough to do real estate. But call media muno. Obi be advertisement, run you score beje. Until you get access to do so many things. So the cars, the shadows and all those things that is in their excess of his money. Inti enkano. But who kwakuye boa any kwesi can come out wundu ono. You are just looking at the end product despite, but you've forgotten the process that despite went through. Into all person, yes, I can see you will crash. So have that perspective. That wealth is not all about displaying all the cars and the mansions, but have, you know, real assets that are income generating assets. And when I saw you there, okay. Into you need the assembly bonnet pop. You be brine sebu ani old school blah blah blah. A lot of people are working so hard outside Ghana, but still they are broke because they have the same perspective about omo mutukan bano. Oh, about the double base to feel toka ya kesisem kope fiba kubisi wagana faka kusim. But those who have different perspective, no, omo no, live different. Or channels, they do some sort of delayed gratification in order to get to a certain level. Now, if in a dream car no better, in a dream house no better or better. The same thing on according to perspective. Ni bini say, oh Ghana, wait me raise 30,000 Ghana cedis. Sorry, $30,000, $50,000. Maybe me can't say in two kind because a person who has made up their mind, we are there. This or no no. If you're able to raise that amount of money, it means that you've worked so hard. So if you are putting that same effort into a business in Ghana, yes, it will fail. The system is hard. But give yourself 10 years, 15 years, you will see a difference. You move be brebons, you move be to kana fe, yabeka going to ne bre, na arehua, no, obit me to kwa, me ban a chibi, obit me to kwine. we see few organs so mean them 20 years down the line they are not able to go, and you be living from paycheck to paycheck. But that same amount in income, $30,000 medium, $800 and I medium $5,000 ko pass as it toya. Na se men tu kwan pan kasa sika no. Unim na asase ne bo ebe yesese. All those things no perspective yen chire in school, because when you go through the educational system of Ghana and Africa at large, ya catch also when tu kwan ya unyi. Inti ubun se no be ye adwuma pa or medical doctor. No chai na fe clean our brochiri. And I say baba be nurse our brochiri. Obu okrampo abanju ni papers ninti no ontimi kra nye anything health related. What to a new yam? So wealth is not about money in your health is also wealth. Health is even your number one wealth, because if your health is terrible, you can't create wealth. So you can't create wealth. So we need to have a different perspective about life. The last thing that I'll talk about, and then I'll end, religion. So your idea, a different perspective about life. It gives you a different perspective about life. Goes you nipa be bro na ebi or engineer or a medical doctor. But I can't say, oh, the obey suffer no agent no akwa suffer. If you we as of within baby o better credit. Baby o din Tibet wedding other senior me friend. But you forget that even the medical doctor that you are, the engineer that you are, no, you are also contributing your service to humanity and service to God. Because God also knows that for the engineer to go to the road and sometimes even missing Sunday service or missing time to go into the mosque, when you say one quiet now, man for life at risk. So they are serving God by constructing roads. And that is what people don't know. Those who are into the word, they say, study to show yourself approved of God. You study to show yourself approved of God. And yes, sir, Makujina, sorry, them kwa me preaching kwa na me a medical doctor. Na se me di no kredi ene ye adwuma nipa ba me mbuo mo mfaso a me ye nyame adwuma me save nipa nkwa. And it sometimes my shift will be on a Sunday. Man, sorry, you don't have no right to judge me that I did not come to church, and I'm sorry, because I'm also saving lives. I'm saving lives. All of us are representation of who the creature is, and the universe is the answer that man is looking for. And for us to get that answer, we need to have a different perspective beyond religion. That if I'm solving problems in my community, I'm serving God that way. I may not be in the church presently, but I'm serving God. You're bad for there. Omo me here from one sorry, yen from your chairman. Your nam chrome na 24/7 your year jumano. O skent on your best friend. Ono crano, wawari 2-3. So phone timinka. So wawari 2-3. Never be for your chairman. By your bota or no one you be a cotton plan when you're too nothing. So we need to get a different perspective. We need to get a different perspective. I might be maybe an Uber driver, or I may be doing any sort of work, but don't let perspective about religion let you be fearful. And we have this perspective that to abodo gunso ni nadacha on sabeka. And tisika one is a bit me that could business in also they are called for it. Men kasa men called for it. But then what you are supposed to do with knowledge, okay? Faith will not necessarily sort you out. I'm telling you. And it will be a pilot or a pilot because not or a pilot because he was prayed for or he has faith. No. So perspective about religion, no pan a problem perspective even our crown. Yes, you on no. But were we not humans, or are we not humans before we became anything else? Your perspective about religion is so because you're to papa echo. So, and who told you that you can be morally upright only through religion? No. Nipa nyankopon wa dream ni benya no ene na kire se nya obebo obra na ye dan afa. Into religion, efa ba bi no eye If I baby so netimi di ni penya so when sua ho ade ya so affordable is any awo ne wo akoma mu na wo de bo enu ntini so bi ma 10,000 ya eh no betimi no de ma. Don't feel bitter about it. Na uni bi kra na wakwa akobo besia na wo kwa akoye den wo de kwa akobo afore no. No, any believer, any man of God, any imam, any religious leader bia ope ye no onfa ehu enshow mu. And it's about time that you gain different sort of knowledge that will make you confident. That will make you confident beyond religion. Beyond religion. You need to look beyond religion. You need to look beyond, look beyond Nkramodem, and Masalach, mosque, look beyond Buddha, look beyond all these. Don't insult them. No, but look beyond. Think outside. Because the universe is the answer that man is looking for. Everything that we are looking for, okay, is within us. And when in pain, religion, it's me, Emma Wadrin, yes, hey, man, bonfire crampa, any idea, meeting. There was a time that I was having a meeting with my friends. Near discussing business. I know maybe one of them might be watching me. Talking business. But say, bonfire. The reason why I can't say bonfire is because you try to say team you be a vampire na edi kan. And not say one bonfire and you. But what if say be a no obi how no nim nyame. You are not being fair to the person. Prayer is good. But you say a business. To be the truth be told, you don't need any prayer there. Leave your religious differences behind and apply knowledge about the business that you are about to do. Ghana in Penifosia na see a bompa be meeting no and tronkwa na yicha and so ye dimpa bon we na asambo closing prayer. You go to an event, ye baby did ye baby chair item 13 and all those kind of things. We can pray. If we pray, then it means that anything that is toxic in the food that you're about to eat, should be nullified. But until be di na se bibi any dia any purchase empire na nyejuma. But then the perspective that we need to have is that so be here the another but they are offer the right ingredients ni nyejuma until she need dia any di nenko. If something happens, then the one who made the food will be held responsible, and that is why we have systems. So yes, be business empire be we can pray and the business will still fail. But we may not pray, but we'll be diligent and we will be very honest in our dealings and the business will succeed. The business succeeding is glory to the maker. The business flourishing is glory to the maker and it's prayer in a certain way. We need to have a different perspective. And into your cultural exams, BC, WASI, near Bonfire, near Chepen, UGD na OGD the aquaculture. But those things grow. When she will be feeling poto. When she will be feeling poto. You can pray because you're a believer, but make sure you're also learning. Have a different perspective about life. Jinyamidi say obadi be there and also come to the realization that he has given you the mind, the brain to be able to reason, and you need knowledge to reason. You need knowledge to reason. A lot of religious people have what we call cognitive dissonance. Ba obinya nim de ofofrabo se ade we sa na enye sa na yeden etie enye sa na yeden etie obinya nim de ofofro na enye sa na yeden etie uti asori de na outing kremodem 24/7 umfa onsa anya hwea uni yedi ntem kwan yeden ewa. So there will be somebody who will not even come to church, but the person will also be successful. Obeka say onkwaje ni here then a chiresa no onkwaje no. And as a matter of fact, salvation is even free. Let me not deviate from the topic today. So perspective is everything. Everything. How far you will go. And the basis of perspective is knowledge. Having different knowledge. So open him there for fraud. Open him there for fraud. business now, and because you are so religious, enko you know obi na yeme, obi the drew yeme, yedimako baby. Why don't you also have a different perspective and ask yourself, say, okay, said you are na me to me surrounding cry who you need ana. Customers ba me nchen a me ni omosere mamuna manim. See, ana me hwe mana. Me kasa cry me wakasa de. What knowledge do I have about sales system? Nti mekwa kwaji anointing oil, mekwa kwaji yesu moja na be peti on so still business ni enko so because I'm lacking. Ni on kwa so no woman chino tend ya ni turn it because osiri chire nipa. They have a different perspective about what business is. Oton ade obi abe park car e o wanim. Oti wo twen say onu ni bisi aba. Any good business person would run to the person and say, oh, Katachi or him, and then I'll pay. Yo, we were how they city a crocro. Beme na Katachi or me. That is what our mothers in the market. They have not been to school. But the way they talk, no, Uchemukana on ta, beto, after be do then crying in the mammy toss ideally. They have certain knowledge, they have a different perspective about sales. Ntena uye babruna uchi Niema bebree a no. Engine to assumptions are not facts. There are things that you need to challenge about about relationship, about adwuma, about business. Sometimes your parents may tell you certain things, but they are not facts. Yes, you can listen, but they are not facts. Remember, you are responsible for your life. And if your perspective is wrong about life, you feel miserably. And sometimes the repercussions will outweigh how you'll be able to make changes to correct the mistakes. Knowledge is paramount in everything that you do. I recommend Perspective by Mr. Kwabena Obendako. So when you say book na me pacho pebi, o abrochira oko Amazon abinya Perspective. O Ghana, oko Achimota Mall, oko Accra Mall, all the major mall outlets. Ubenye bi ato ho. I'm not marketing for him. I know the content in the book. And after reading that book, so I advance the sound near my baby catch them in do sika back. If you are not able to even read the whole book, read the introduction. It's his first book. The introduction is more powerful than the rest of the content. It went me and can't cry the read the introduction. Me say so I advance the sound for near my baby ewa brabumu, ewa kwentumu, ewa remu, ewa business mo. Ode catch them. Ping me on Facebook. We do seek back. Thank you, everyone. Before I end, let me give a shout out to all people who were able to join us. Abrufra Jr., Emmanuel Amwakunya, Isaac Frimpong, Sam Kepcher, and then Nyunyam for Asa, Osei Kwabna, Isaac Frimpong, Timothy, I salute you, Kweku Frimpong, Bernard, my chairman, Kofi Asante, Evans Kapu, and then Kechum Kwache. Thank you for making it a point to join us. Thank you for being part of today's life. And then we Ohinefaro. Yeah, Ohinefaro. Yeah, history no, yeah. Next basa today, but Ejuma semni ibinti intimi fan my meaning say me demoka ewo history no. Me rain fi kra ebeba. Yeah, history no ebeba. It will definitely come. So Ohinefaro inyatu wasi ebeba why. I heard Tuesday kra ebeti me diaba. And I say Saturday at the Bakuba Ebabe film. And let me give you a hint of it. The history, I'll be talking more about trans-Saharan slave trade. And then I'll also fuse it with the Rhine's mathematical papyrus. And the Rhine's mathematical papyrus and then trans-Saharan slave trade. And I'm even if it is 30 minutes, yeah, the Bible FM because I've kept you waiting for long. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful Monday. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.